Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 23rd episode of Kentucky Go Digital Live and the third episode of our March series. I'm Elaine Abenatha, Technology Integration Specialist with McCracken County Schools, and I'm joined today by our Kentucky Go Digital Live team. We have Brooke Whitlow, Courtney DeRossett, and Heather Worrell is going to be joining us in a few. And we have two very special guests as well. We have Dr. Marty Park and Jeff Sobalski. Hi, guys. Hi. Hello, ladies. How are you and gentlemen?
Very good. Thanks for having us.
Glad to have everybody. I'm excited today to have an amazing leader in our state, and her name is Dr. Amy Allen. She's principal at Glasgow High School, and she has a history of a high school principal, elementary principal, guidance counselor, and even an assistant who has worked with students with special needs. Welcome, Dr. Allen. I'm so glad to have you with us today.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here.
So we have Brooke and Courtney who are going to be fielding your questions on YouTube, the live chat, and Twitter. Make sure that you drop in any questions there and introduce yourself and let us know what county you're from, especially if you're a new viewer to us. If you do not have that chat capability, make sure you log in to YouTube at the top. And while you're there, go ahead and click subscribe for us. That way you get notifications for other upcoming episodes that are going to go live as well. So I'm going to let Dr. Allen take it away for us and share with us how she is using digital tools to spotlight student success as well as work with her teachers.
Thanks, Elaine. I'm really excited to be here and to get to share some of the awesome things that are going on at Glasgow High School. A couple of things just to share about Glasgow High School. The first thing is that we have 600 amazing students in our building, and we have just started a program to kind of revolutionize the way that we educate our students, and it's called Best Fit. I'll talk just a little bit about that, but it's really about learning students and finding out their personalities. We do lots of personality testing with our kids, and from that we identify some careers that might be of interest to them, and then from there we look at colleges that would be the best fit for them, because whenever they graduate from high school, my goal is always that they will have some opportunities and choices in their life. So I think about maximizing their potential all day long. Even though we are a small school, we have 14 advanced placement classes. And I think that is definitely one of the reasons that we have been successful over the past few years. Some of the courses that we offer for our career pathways, we have a very dynamic engineering program in our building. We offer biomedical sciences. This upcoming year, I'm super excited that we get to offer advanced medicine. So we're really targeting our students who want to go into the medical field, but with advanced degrees. So like doctors and surgeons, pharmacists, those types of students. We have a thriving arts program, business program, culinary arts. We have our own industrialized kitchen in our building, so that's quite exciting. This past January, we launched our one-to-one freshman Chromebooks. So all of our freshmen are seeing Chromebooks, and that has been a great endeavor. And I want to give a huge shout out to Heather and Adam Watson, who helped me roll that out. That's been really successful. Our ACT scores, right now, they are the highest that they've been in the past 5 years. Our junior ACT score is a 21.5, and that's the 16th best overall in the state. And then U.S. News and World Report gave us a silver medal this past year and ranked us 6th in the state. And all of these things are awesome and wonderful. But this is something else that I like to talk about, our students within our building. Most people don't realize the percentage of free and reduced lunch students that we have. So when we talk about inspiring student success, it's important that our teachers realize and that they know the impact that they have on them every single day, because of the high number of free and reduced lunch students that we have. We realize that education and relationships, those are the two things that will take these kids wherever they want to go. In addition to that, we have 14% of our students that are homeless. So that could be that they are living with someone else other than their biological parents. It could be that they're living with friends. It could be that they're foster children. But that's a huge number. That's about 85 of our students. And And then we go down into our minority population. We're about 68 and 32% there. We have 7% English language learners, and that number continues to grow. So we are really focusing some efforts on especially our Spanish speaking students. And then we have about 11% of students that qualify for ECE services. But the most important thing is that 100% of these kids, once they walk that line in May, I want them to have choices after graduation. So that's all about inspiring student success. So I started using digital tools with G Suite about 4 years ago. Really because I felt that that I needed to do something to make my life just a little bit easier and more efficient and effective. So I started using digital tools and brought that over to the high school whenever I came. And so we are really well on our way using lots of G Suite things. So today I want to show you some ways that we use these digital tools. And the first one, really the most important to me, is using Google Classroom. I use Google Classroom to house all of our meetings. This is my classroom, and you can see that I belong to 3. I own 1, and then we also have some district-led classrooms. But within our classroom, if you can see over here, this is where I keep everything. We have announcements, our bell schedule, Chromebooks, faculty meetings. That's one of the things I want to talk about today. Professional growth and evaluation system, PD, RTI, all kinds of stuff. So with Google Classroom, I'm able to house several different pieces of information where teachers can go through and they can look and find things just really, really easily.
And I want to point out, Amy, I want to point out real quick, I think we've said this online on our shows yet, but that side right there, topics, and that's a tool that's recently added to Google Classroom. And so you're using that to filter what your teachers are, or what. Awesome. Love it. I just wanted to make that point out because that's a new feature that they've just had this year. And so I don't think we've really talked about that on the show yet. You're using its max. Love it.
Yes, I do. And again, I use these tools just because everybody's life is busy, and I want to make my teachers their lives just as easy as it possibly can. So whenever we have faculty meetings, I always put our faculty agendas. We have team meetings. It always goes into Google Classroom, and the teachers, they come in and they usually bring a Chromebook, or they get on their phone or their iPad, whatever they want. It really doesn't matter with me, but they come on here and they can see all of the faculty meetings that we've done. And with each one, for instance, like with our March faculty meeting, you can see over here what I do, and this is really at the suggestion of one of the Kentucky Go Digital leaders. I give each student a copy, or each teacher a copy of this, so they can take their own notes. So whenever we go into like the March, we have a set of questions that we go over, and each time it looks the same. Let me show you the one that we did back in January, because that's the one that I want to share with you to kind of get things started. So this is what it looks like, and like I said, I share this with our faculty, and we have different meetings throughout the day. But this is just the format that I use continuously. And you can see that I've put in some different links. Back in January, we're getting ready for lots of winter weather. So all those links are on there. We talk about ACT scores, our seniors who are lacking one benchmark, and we share who those students are. We talk about our junior ACT, especially that's coming up pretty soon, next Tuesday. All of our sophomores and freshmen will take the PSAT as well. So I just wanted to share that because I think that that's really important, modeling to teachers how to use Google Classroom, because lots of the teachers in my building and on my team, they use those things. So let me go back here just very quickly. I want to show you our vertical team meetings that we use, because to me, this is really how we inspire that student success and make sure that our students are growing. So 4 times a year, our teachers will meet in vertical team meetings, and I actually should say that they meet more often than that, but 4 times a year they do these. They do this really assessment for me. So this is an example team. Just to, have some transparency here. This goes out to the department. They are required for filling in the questions, and they send it back to me. Most of the questions are the same for English language arts, for math, for social studies and science, but they do get very specific. So when we talk about inspiring student success and realizing that we're in the business of growing students, here are the questions that my math team that they answer, and they send this information to me, and you can see over here that I give them some feedback and ask them some more questions. So what we go line by line for each student. This is an example of an English language arts teacher, and she shared this with me through Google Classroom. And we look at our students usually about at the fall break mark, right after we've been in class. So here she started in August, looking to see how many students that she had that were novice, apprentice, proficient, and distinguished. So over here, I've deleted all the names, so you can still see the red. These are novice high. And then what I have our teachers do is they have to mark where the students are, and then we come back and revisit that in January. So you can see here with the reason, and let me say just a little bit about this. With motivation, our belief is that you can't really make people do anything, but instead you have to provide an opportunity and a setting in order for them to want to be a part of your team, and they want to maximize their own potential. But you can see here the movement backwards and forwards, the yellows and the reds and the greens. So we look at all of those students exactly to see where they are. So this is January. This last one she did was in January, and we'll do this again in April. And you can see the number of her percentage of students that goes up. But the reason that goes up, I want to show you just a couple of things. Let me go back up this way. I like to ask the teachers pretty much the same questions each time that they meet in their formal vertical team meetings. And I like to ask them what are things that they're the most proud of. And you can see that this department talks about spiraling their content, using Khan Academy, which is a free resource. If anybody's not using that, I highly recommend it. Our kids love it. Teachers love it as well. Then we look into our mid-year data, and we have some goals that we set. For instance, we in our district, we call it the 40-30. So what we're looking at is we want 40% of our students and 30%, 40% to be distinguished, 30% to be proficient. In addition to that, we want 80% of our students 80 students to be going into pre-calculus. And so I just asked the teachers, how are you doing at this? How are you going to alter your instruction? What are some things that you do? And then they respond back to me. So I like to give them feedback and give them comments on some things that they can do. Over here, these are examples of our non-negotiables. And a non-negotiable would be things that you have to do or students have to learn in order to go on to the next class.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey, welcome.
I don't want to interrupt you guys. I'm just showing these awesome people here, and will you all say hi to everyone?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey. Can you see them?
Hey.
Viewers, Heather is doing a training right now at JCPS at Jefferson County Schools. Am I correct, Heather?
Yes, I am, with all these awesome people. And we were just talking about the YouTube channel to get on-demand support. And that Dr. Allen's episode is perfect because these are all goal clarity coaches they're instructional coaches, and student growth and data tracking is something that they care a lot about. So anyways, we're going to continue with the training, but I know many of them are excited to watch your episode, Dr. Allen, and I know I am too.
Thank you.
Yay.
Have a good training, guys. So that was they're learning exactly what you're talking about. So this is awesome. So keep showing us how you're having your teachers track. And what I wanted to say too, real quick, was that by putting that into Google Classroom, you no longer have to keep knocking on the doors or emailing, hey, I need to see your updated thing. You're literally seeing it live as they update it. So you have the ability to peek over, and if they have a question, they pass them in the hallway and you say, and they ask you a question and you can say, I'll take a look at it. And you don't even have to ask them again or anything like that. It just breaks the barrier down.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Dr. Allen, the fact that you can give them that feedback, because a lot of times teachers may have that conversation in a PLC. You're not there to redirect, but the use of these tools allow you to redirect them into the right direction, as opposed to 2 weeks later, you're having to go back.
Yeah.
So you're making the most of the teacher's time, and you're letting them know that you are aware of what they're doing and you appreciate their comments. You know, every teacher wants feedback from their administrator, and this is the perfect way to use the Google tools.
Well, one of the most important things after they meet in their team meetings, when they share this with me, is I really like to go in and to read them and to give them feedback immediately, because just like with our students, you know, getting that timely feedback, that's what grows students. So, you know, by modeling that for teachers, and they reciprocate.
Also, I wanted to tell you, you have some fans out there. Chase Goff, Faith Stroud, they are both watching, and they said they're learning from you. Faith actually had a suggestion. She was talking about that she uses Google Classroom with her evaluations within her building, and that she was looking forward to using this. So they are online, and Dee Dee Webb is online, and they're all learning from you and writing notes right now from you. So no pressure.
Okay, I want to show you the non-negotiables. I was talking about that just a few minutes ago. And again, when we were talking about growing students, I want to say just a little bit more about this, because I feel like that this is very important. Non-negotiables are things that teachers have to teach, or excuse me, that the students really have to learn before they move on. So I want to give you an example. This goes back to what's in my Google Classroom. So you can see here, I'm going to pop this open for non-negotiables for writing. So our teachers post these in their classrooms, and students know that they have to know how to do these things before they leave freshman English or sophomore English. And this is something that we have really worked on this year, is really identifying what are our non-negotiables. In elementary, we used to call these big rocks. Where I was at Highland, they are a leader in me school. So we talked about big rocks. And so, you know, no matter what grade level you have, I think it's highly important that we talk about the non-negotiables. These are the things that you have to be able to do. So going back to our vertical team meetings, I asked teachers, you know, how do you do that? How are you showing? How are you communicating these things? So, like for instance, with question number 5, share your non-negotiables with me in Google Drive, and then I can share them with everybody in our building. So the English department knows what the social studies department's non-negotiables are. Science and math, they work hand in hand with their non-negotiables as well. And my superstar math teacher here, she's our AP stats teacher. She's also teaches for laying the foundation and does some work with Advanced Kentucky. She put pictures over here, which I just thought was completely awesome. And these are just examples of their non-negotiables. So in Algebra 1, kids know exactly what they have to learn before moving on. And we assess these continuously. So if you look at question number 6, how do you communicate those? And then I say, be very specific, because I don't want them to say, well, you know, we just talk about them, whatever. But give exactly what they do. And then how frequently are you assessing those non-negotiables? So if you think back to spiraling content, possibly using bell ringers, doing any type of a formative assessment, sometimes it's actually 4 or 5 questions on a unit exam or on a chapter test, but continuously assessing those non-negotiable really leads to student success.
Hey, Dr. Allen.
Yes.
So this is awesome share out. And Jeff and I were just kind of thinking about, you know, in your vertical team structure, in this collaborative space where you're bringing lots of folks together to kind of think and grow together. Have you seen just over the period of time, have you seen the level of discourse kind of increase as folks different vertical teams have connected, like whether it's a cross-curricular connection or We're just curious about if you could speak to that, Annie.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can. And I can see that definitely because now, since we're, documenting things really encourages people to share out ideas, and housing it in Google Classroom means that it's always there and you don't have to fumble through emails, or you don't have to be at your desktop so you can get into a specific folder or anything like that. So with G Suite tools, because it's all web-based and you can access it anywhere, it really opens up those conversations to be had everywhere in the classrooms and hallways in our meetings. And then we also do our vertical team meetings with our middle school. So it even goes down, to our 6th grade as well, where we share those non-negotiables, and it really helps with our vertical alignment. And because it's a Google Doc and it's shared with all team members, and those team members actually use a team drive to house all their resources. So it's really streamlined everything. It's taken us to, it's really maximizing the abilities that we have. And like you said, opening up lots of conversations that otherwise probably wouldn't happen. And it's real easy to share all that information.
Have you had a turnover of teachers to where if a teacher leaves or leaves your district, when a new teacher comes in, have you seen the pickup be a little bit faster because you have this already documented?
Yes, because it's all there. And I didn't say this, but I need to share as well that our curriculum maps and all of our pacing guides, they're all housed in G Suite as well, and Google Drive, and in those team drives. So, if you have somebody that leaves your school or leaves your district, it's already there. And just going back to my teaching days, that was really hard for me whenever I came into teaching profession, trying to discern what was most important, what would be my non-negotiables and what's not. And it's there, and they update those quarterly as well. So, just even thinking about it being live and updating automatically alleviates the, well, I don't know if that's the right version, or I've saved this and, that it doesn't have the changes on there. It's just really, really helped us become lots more efficient. Another way that we use our G Suite tools and to grow students is by using a Google form to submit RTI requests. So this is something that I encourage the guidance counselors to really start utilizing this year. And again, this is it's in our Google Classroom, so teachers have access to it all the time. And it's quite simple. You just put in the student's name, the subject area that they need for intervention, the date, the teacher puts in whose name that it is, what reason do they have for needing RTI, and then their current average, and then they submit it. And it's really worked wonderfully for our guidance counselors because they are updated on this continuously. And of course, it sends a notification that somebody needs to be put into an intervention class. Another tool that I want to share is really talking about individualized goal setting. And this is an example from Newsella. I don't know if anybody is using Newsella or not, but our teachers, they are able to utilize this tool. And it's something that our English Language Arts department asked that we purchase this year, and it goes right along with your Google Classroom. So you can
While you're signing in, Dr. Allen, Faith jumped on and was talking about the KDE intervention tab and how using that sheet for your RTI documentation, and you can follow up with what requirements that they have for you to put that in the Infinite Campus. How that's a great tracking sheet. So if you are just jumping on, excuse me, and you heard Dr. Allen talk about that RTI form that she shares with her counselor, that also can be great for documenting that for that KDE intervention tab. That was a great point, Faith.
Yeah, that is good. And, just making things easier for everybody, I think, is awesome. Just a couple other things before we get into the actual celebrating students, which is probably my favorite part, is just that goal setting that we have for each student. And that even goes back to the individualization of students and where they are in math and reading and social studies. But one of the other things I want to show to you just quickly is our professional development. And of course, we're getting ready to have asking teachers what they need for their professional development. So this is our professional development survey that went out last week. And I've asked our teachers to share with me, some things that they're looking at, things that they would like to do. And it's just real simple, and it makes my life so much easier because I know exactly what my teachers want. So again, they just fill in their name. They check what they want to do for professional development. So these are some of the things that I've had people to share with me that they would like to do. Of course, AP training for summer, laying the foundations training. Lots of people are interested in novice reduction strategies, metacognition, effective feedback, those types of things. And then for departmental meetings, if they're interested in having one of those, reading instruction is always important. And then I've given them an option of what I call a Learn-a-Palooza. I think probably most people call these things teach meets now, but this would be something new for our high school. I did it when I was at an elementary school. Really fun professional development. I ask team members to think of something that they are just rock stars in doing, and they present to us in about 45-minute segments. And teachers sign up to go to find out what everybody else is doing in their classroom. So that's always one of the best ones that I have found that people enjoy learning from their own teammates in the building. And just kind of going on down a little bit further, what do you want? If we do Learn-a-Palooza, what are some things that you're interested in? And then also, when do you want to have your PD? It's important to me that I ask teachers, get their input and get their suggestions as to when do we offer PD. So that's this is pretty. This is an awesome tool because it's interesting to see what people want to do, as well as their goals for becoming better educators. Let me show you this just very quickly. Celebrating student success. Like, this is probably my most favorite thing about being a principal. I love going into classrooms and I love seeing my kids and doing working right along with them. And I use a whole lot of social media to share our students' success. So let me kind of flip on this just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Just some things here that I wanted to highlight. First of all, over here, this is what we call this is our ACT cabinet. So I have pictures of all of my kiddos in there that have scored a 28 or higher on the ACT. And they have a nice little trophy in there. And we've put their names out there so people can recognize them. And it's really close to our gymnasium. So when we have sporting events, people can see that as well. And, thinking about the ACT, we really encourage our students to do their very, very best on the ACT with the mindset that we know about 80% of our students want to go on to post-secondary education. And even those who aren't quite sure just yet, we always tell them that, go ahead and take that ACT, get your benchmarks, get the scores that you want, because you never know what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years. And I would not want to have to take the math portion of the ACT again. But that is one way that we celebrate their success, and it's a big deal for those kids to get into that ACT cabinet. They talk about it, they're proud of it. Students come and they look at it. Our visitors stop by and they look at it as well. So we're really, really proud of those kiddos for doing that. Over here, we have our college and career readiness scoreboard. And so we tweet this out whenever we update it. We use Instagram as well and Facebook. And you can see we've got our scoreboard. This is actually just a little bit old. We've had some students to take some industry certification exams and have passed them. But just this alone really encourages students to say, how can I get my picture up there? And they want to know those things. They want to know if I'll take a picture of them and put it on Instagram. And we talk about things that are Instagram worthy to go on our site. And I'll show you that in just a second. But just a couple of things there, our picture of a couple of our ladies working in the kitchen, our National Merit semifinalist. This was fun. We celebrate all of our kids that get certified with an industry certification, as well as students that get into college. So we have two big picture frames. One is I got certified and the other one is an I got in. and just a whole lot of fun to do. I'm going to take you into my Twitter page now. Miss Bartley here. She is an example of one of our superstar teachers, and she won our TGIM contest. We always do a thank goodness it's Monday shout out Monday mornings. And what we do is I play a song over the intercom, and the teachers and the students have to work together to send me the name of the song and the artist. And whoever wins that, whoever beeps me in first, then they get a prize. And so that's just adds to a little bit of the culture. The high school, you may not think that high schoolers would say, oh, who cares about Monday and all those little songs, but it means a whole lot to them as well. We have a Glasgow High School Facebook page where we celebrate student success. And let me show you this. It's probably the best way to reach a lot of our parents and families, grandparents, aunties and uncles, those types of things. And then the last one I want to share with you is our Instagram. And I do this one for the kids. There's not a lot of adults that do Instagram, but our guidance counselors go into their classrooms, and starting as a freshman, they create their own Google site where that they upload their volunteer activities. They can upload their band performances. They can upload sports activities if they have highlights reel. So this is something I'm really, really excited about with Google Sites with our kiddos.
I wanted to make a point, Dr. Allen, about how Instagram can tie, and a lot of people, if they're not familiar with social media at all, and they're thinking, oh my goodness, that I have to do, you're asking me to do Facebook, you're asking me to do Instagram, and then Twitter and all that. But that's what Instagram does, is it allows you, if you think it's worthy for all of those 3 accounts, it will push it out for all 3 of those. So it streamlines that. So you're using that right now as it is to streamline.
Yes.
You're not struggling a whole bunch. You're just, it's a lot, but yet you're doing awesome things through just Instagram. And then you're able to. Well, Courtney, can you share with our users on how they can get connected with Kentucky Go Digital?
Yes, there's 3 different ways. One being YouTube, what you're on now, KentuckyGoDigital.com. Live is great. You can join in the chat, but you can also look at all the different videos from the playlist on the hashtag. And at the KISI conference, Elaine's kind of coined the party on the hashtag. So hashtag KYGoDigital. And with Twitter, we have a lot of updates. And then, of course, the regional events that we'll be having all across the state this summer, led by all of you. And I know we talk about it all the time that you, if you are a teacher, a leader, you are Kentucky Go Digital. You are the reason that we are able to create and connect and share. So keep doing that on the hashtag, and hopefully we'll be able to keep connecting and growing.
Thanks, Courtney. On behalf of everybody here at Kentucky Go Digital, I wanted to thank you, Dr. Allen, for joining us today and sharing and allowing us to peek into your school and see how you've utilized these digital tools to maximize your time and your efficiency. And it's truly a blessing for me to get to visit your school virtually. And I know there are lots of people out there that are going to be poking their heads into this episode and also benefiting from your hard work. So, but next, I wanted to make sure everyone knows that our next show is with Rob Folk. He's the principal at the Marion C. Moore School in Jefferson County Public Schools, and he's going to talk about digital tools to build and unite your school community. So make sure that as you watch and connect and create and share, you put those on the hashtag, your good ideas and your questions, so that others can share them around the state. So thank you for watching Kentucky Go Digital. Get involved with Kentucky Go Digital. Attend regional events, like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel